Howdy y'all. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some creepy and strange TikTok facts that are going to make you question reality. Let's get it up.
5 interesting stuff. Number 5. Snakes hatch from eggs, which sounds kind of gross when you say it out loud for some reason, but not as gross as snakes that actually have live birth. I'm sorry, man. Your child looks like a deadly parasite. Number 4. This is the largest clear-cut diamond.
I thought that was the only way that snakes could have offspring with stoop eggs. I didn't know they had live births like that. That is kind of unsettling.
In the world. It's called the Great Star of Africa because it was found in Africa in 1905. It's worth about $500 million, and even Queen Elizabeth II owns it. Number 3. And speaking of Africa, the African lungfish.
Hey, he said it, not me.
That actually breathes air, walks, and survives without water for over a year. He sounds weird, but he's actually more perfect than your slowly evolving unfinished judgmental quivery again. Oh yeah, for the past 400 million years, whenever this guy's stream dries up, he just covers himself in mucus, leaves a hole for him to breathe through, and waits for the rain to return. If you didn't have water, you'd probably die in like a week. Number 2. Some traffic jams.
Maybe or less, depending on a person's, their water intake that they normally, take within that time period. So, but if y'all find one of those creatures, that fish, whatever it was, what y'all doing? Y'all leaving it? Y'all taking it with you?
In India are unexplainable, and I don't plan to explain them. And number 1, the reason you gotta be on time to class, the Egyptians. They made the oldest timekeeping device, but passed it around the world like a bad case of the herpes, forcing the rest of us chumps to believe in their made-up time. Well, I'm not buying it. They can take their orders or whatever and shove it where the rod don't shine, because waking up with an alarm is a scam, and so is Wyoming. Facts!
I have to throw that in there about Wyoming. What if you got against Wyoming? Just kind of want to know. But yeah, the whole construct of time and everything like that, we should be able to go based off our own schedules. But hey, I guess without some sort of organization of time, if each person or each area went off their own set of time, then I guess that would kind of be thrown off with, the whole system as a whole. I guess, I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about the construct of time.
That will mess with your perception of time. If you are over the age of 45, the world population has doubled in your lifetime. Everything in this 1991 Radio Shack app.
I think that ever since, between 2020 and 2021, we all know what took place during that time. Like I said, can't say it, for reasons. Oh, this is for entertainment purposes. Just want to put that out there. But we know what happened between that time. I think there was a baby boom in that time when more people were staying home. So what if, yeah, he said that 45 people and up, but what if even just during that time now, the population doubled during that period where people were having to stay home? Think about it.
Ad exists in the smartphone you're watching this video on right now. Dinosaurs roamed the earth for such a long period of time that dinosaur fossils existed while dinosaurs were still alive. King Tut started ruling Egypt as a pharaoh before he was 10 years old until he died at 19 years old. Picasso.
That's crazy to be handed that kind of responsibility and to be put in that position at the age of 10. Then it makes me wonder if anybody can tell me down below, because I cannot for the life of me recall how did he pass, and especially pass at 19.
And Snoop Dogg were alive at the same time. Every single atom in your body is billions of years old. The human race has existed.
Not mine. Mine's only as old as I am. I'll debate it.
Existed on Earth for only 0.004% of the Earth's entire history. Follow for more.
This is the smallest country in the world. Well, technically, it's not a country, but it is a micronation that is not affiliated with any country in the world. All 22 people who call Sealand home live on this World War II fortress that was built 7 miles off the coast of England. It was built by the English military to watch the coastline, but in the 1950s, they were all abandoned. In 1967, Paddy Bates, the founder of an illegal British radio station, claimed the fort as his own so that he could broadcast his radio station.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this sounds like a movie that came out some odd years ago, where the premise of it was a dude that was basically, took over his place to cast over the radio, talk, all that jazz. But the whole premise of this, I know it would be even considered a town, but I know there are certain areas that it's a fly-by town. You're driving down the highway, down the road, and then you didn't realize you just went through a city town. But this takes the cake. I mean, shoot, I never even heard of this. There's only 22 people living there. I mean, everybody knows everybody, and everybody probably been with everybody. If you know what I mean.
The fort technically didn't belong to any countries, it was its own independent state. Although Sealand is not recognized as an official country, it had...
Another thing is, sorry, I keep pausing, but how do they get food? Can't get water from that unless they filter it, and they have a way to filter it. Makes me wonder if it's still populated and if people are still there, and if the population's grown since then.
has all the qualifications that are needed. The people of Sealand have their own flag, currency, stamps, and even their own government. They also even have their own passports. But perhaps the craziest thing is that they have a national soccer team. And yes, more than half of their citizens are...
So it looks like Putin is going to Jupiter. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. The other day, someone in government, yes, the government, Ukrainian government.
What happened to Mars? People trying to go to Mars. This is the first time I'm hearing trying to make an attempt to go to Jupiter. So I kind of want to know why.
Set up a petition and fundraiser to get Putin rocketed and sent to Jupiter. Yeah. Has been fully backed by the Ukrainian government, and people have already raised over $1.5 million. I'm not being funny. What are they thinking? If it reaches a certain amount of signatures and money, that Putin's just going to climb in a rocket and go, you know what? Send me. Don't think that's how it works.
Put me in, coach. Anybody had the opportunity to go to space? If so, where would you go and why?
But, yeah.
Here's disgusting habits that are actually good for you. Studies show that people who bite their nails or suck their thumb are less prone to allergies. And people who bite their nails are actually both...
I mean, I can see that to a certain extent. You know, being exposed to those germs and everything that are underneath your fingernails. But I mean, as a kid, we tell our kids, you know what I mean, you keep biting your fingernails and chewing on your nails, you're gonna get worms in your butt. Anybody else was told that? Let me know in the comments below.
building a stronger immune system because they're ingesting the bacteria. If you never burp, then you'd really damage your digestive system. And peeing while in the shower prevents your feet from getting fun.
And think about it too. For the females that get their nails done, and then especially those long ones, y'all chewing on yours nails, you can't wipe properly.
Here's all the reasons why people believe the moon landing was fake. Alright, firstly, I think somebody needs some explaining to do, because if Neil Armstrong was the first person on the moon, who would have taken this photo of him? Next, here's a photo of Neil's boots on display. However, this was his footprint when he was on the moon. Something's not adding up here. Now, so apparently Neil Armstrong took this photo of astronaut Buzz Aldrin on the moon, but when you zoom in, there is no camera found. Moving on, it's always been a mystery how the flag is up when there's no wind on the moon. Also, people believe since there's no stars in the sky that the pictures were actually taken in a studio. And finally, since Neil is in a shadow but all lit up, people believe that they took a studio light to take the picture. But what do you all think?
I mean, dude has come out and said he was in the middle of a stadium or auditorium. They asked, what was the scariest thing that you experienced? And he said, it never happened. Y'all can look it up. So, if the man himself that supposedly walked the moon is saying that it never happened, well, there's your answer right there.
This man shot at the police because he said he thought he was inside of a video game. On Sunday afternoon in Boca Raton, a 25-year-old man by the name of Kyle Raymond began opening fire on police and was eventually arrested for shooting at them from his balcony. When police arrived at Raymond's house on Sunday evening, he claimed that he fired 2 random shots out of the Ruger at a police car, and he didn't know if there was a police officer in there or not, but he did it anyways. But get this, when he was taken into questioning and asked what persuaded him to do this, he claimed that he thought he was being controlled like he was in a video game, and that specific video game was Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, when Raymond was arrested, police went back to investigate his apartment and found Delta-8 THC, and think that may have had something to do with his mind and what triggered him to go off. That just goes to show how seriously people take video games. And how crazy people are.
A massive...
I would say that is a pretty crazy idea. Now, for those who are not familiar with Delta-8, I'm not going to go too far into depth with it, but it's like it's been the gray area for quite a few states to, instead of it being THC, it's a gray area product that they can sell, if you get the drift. But to his point of talking about, oh yeah, he's gonna say that, oh, it's because of the video game, he feel like he was in a video game. I guess if you look at it, I guess it's a good segue into a cop-out to plead insanity. If that was, you know, all fabricated, and if it wasn't just him, if he, maybe he did believe that he was in a video game, but let's just say he didn't believe that, and he was trying to use that as a cop-out later on in court, say, hey, plead to insanity, and I guess get a more suitable sentence that he felt he wanted.
Super yacht owned by an extremely rich Russian oligarch is currently stuck on the coast of Norway. Not because it broke down or there's something blocking its path, but because all of the local oil suppliers just completely refuse to help refuel the boat. You see, the boat is owned by a man named Vladimir Storkovsky, who made a massive amount of money through nickel mining. But he's also a former KGB agent and has long been close with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Out of support for Ukraine, no one is willing to help them out, so for now, the boat and the crew are stuck where they are.
I could be wrong, but I feel like at the minimum, maybe the boat might still be there, but I'm sure that, you know, the crew, any person on there has probably been rescued and taken to safety, I would assume. But I could be wrong.
History facts that schools refuse to teach. Catherine the Great hired professional feet ticklers. Their only job was to tickle her feet and to sing her songs. Albert Einstein married his first cousin.
I don't like particularly at times, you know, my feet being tickled, so I'm not gonna, you know, pay somebody, hire somebody to tickle my feet. But yes, interesting enough, get your song sang to you and feet tickle. What if, and this is very possible, especially in today's day and age, somebody's hired somebody, paid somebody to be a professional toe sucker. Think about it.
Einstein originally married someone else, but after 16 years they broke up and these two got together and they're actually first cousins, and that lasted until her death. Ancient Egyptians used to use alligator poop as a contraceptive. Egyptian women would put it up inside of them to block the sperm, and it was so acidic that it usually worked.
Okay, that could be used to block it, but did they immediately wash out, clean up, and was there any record of any kind of illness, sickness, disease that spread from putting fecal matter up in the hoo-ha, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, that just doesn't sound very sanitary.
Allan Poe married his 13-year-old step-cousin, and the famous poet was 27 at the time.
You know what I will say, especially with the one with Einstein and then Edgar Allan Poe, I understand that there's a major time difference in between today's era and then, and who knows, maybe back then it was either legal, not realized, or nobody cared. Still straight.
If you see this on
especially the age difference.
the ground, do not touch it and run away immediately. You may be tricked into thinking you stumbled across a rare token or coin. However, when you go to pick it up, you'll find out it's hairy. Then, within milliseconds, you'll feel pain worse than you've ever felt before pulsate through your body. That's because you've just been bitten by a Chinese hourglass.
That's what I thought it was. I've seen photos of this thing, and it looks trippy.
Spider. And right now, it's paralyzed your diaphragm, making you pass out and potentially killing you.
That's crazy. Let me know what y'all think about each of these clips. I mean, my mind is blown. And all I gotta say is 99% of that I'd not seen or, you know, wasn't aware prior to. But I hope that y'all enjoyed. That's it for today's video. If you did, please like, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and then turn on the notification bell. I greatly appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. Be safe.